Hi, I'm Sebastian, Senior Vice President for Research and Development here at NJIT. We're here today for another conversation from the Edge. Our guest today is Professor Cristiano Dias, new assistant professor in the Department of Physics. He comes to us with a rich background, having both lived in many countries, Brazil, Mozambique, Canada, and Germany, as well as having studied many different fields as well as in different locations. Welcome to NJIT, Cristiano.
Thank you very much, Donna.
So tell us a little bit about what brought you here to NJIT. What attracted you to the university?
Sure. What attracted me here is mostly the attitude of the people. So it's a very positive attitude. Everybody is very positive. They're looking forward to the future. There are so many hires, new professors hiring, and this is bringing a whole new attitude to the campus. Which is already very multicultural. So this is just wonderful to see people from different parts of the world here in this campus. It's just a wonderful place to be, and I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
So we talk a lot about the convergence of life science and engineering. You seem to personify that. Mathematics, a biochemistry postdoc, about a physics training. Tell us a little bit about your research and how it pulls together the roots of the traditional scientific disciplines to come to bear to bring new insights into the life sciences.
So yes, Don, so my work is really at the interface between physics, biochemistry, biology, so basically what we do is that we bring the tools from physics and mathematics and we bring them in order to understand biology. And more specifically what I do is that I work to understand the cell from a molecular perspective. So basically we try to understand how the different molecules that make the cell, how they work together in order to have a cell that function and that function in our body, for example. So I work with proteins, and what is very fascinating about proteins, and you can probably see an example here in the screen behind me. So this is two small proteins, two peptides, and what is important about proteins is that the function they have inside the cell depend on the type of structures they assume. And if we can understand the structure they have, we can then make the relation between structure and function. And proteins, they assume different functions, like they filter. They're the ones deciding what kind of molecules can go inside the cell and what kind of molecules can go outside the cell. They build roads inside the cell. It's something really amazing, where you have big roads inside the cell and you have other molecules, other proteins walking inside these roads, transporting ingredients. Things that I work on is really trying to understand how these proteins, how they aggregate, so how they stick together. And one of the reasons is because there are many diseases like Alzheimer's, one of them, Parkinson, where the diseases come from the fact that some of these proteins, they start aggregating, so they start sticking together and forming long fibers. And so people that have Alzheimer's, for example, they will have these long fibers inside the brains, and this is what leads to the disease. And we have many diseases like this, and Alzheimer's is just one of them, Parkinson. You can have these fibers forming also in the lungs, and this leads to the disease of the patient, or inside the heart. If the fibers are formed in vital organs, then the patient just dies. It's very hard to stop the formation of this fiber. So what we do here in my lab is that we try to understand how those fibers are formed, in order to find strategies to stop the formation of these fibers. So to find, for example, molecules that can inhibit the formation of the fibers. So that's one of the main lines in my lab here.
So it seems really important here in making breakthroughs to be able to connect the structure of DNA to its role as a protein generator, and then all of the both form and functions that derive from that. And you're right at the forefront of that work, aren't you?
That's exactly it, Donna. So it's it's very important because of mutations. So many of those diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson, there are some specific mutations that lead to the disease. And so trying to understand really this whole genome, the genome idea, of what kind of mutations lead to the diseases, what mutations do not lead to disease. It's very important to see this broad picture, and we need this in order to create new medicines.
So we have multiple pathways then to dealing with maladies. We might be synthesizing proteins that the body doesn't naturally create, or blocking ones that are being created and shouldn't, or created in too much of a concentration, or maybe even to the point where we can fix our genetics on the fly, right, and splice in or splice out the things that are causing that problem. But you can't do any of that unless you understand the basic protein chemistry from the DNA out.
Exactly, Don. That's exactly it.
So tell me a little bit about how students get involved in the work that you do. I know you're new here, but you are probably already digging into picking out the best and the brightest to work on exciting stuff like this.
Exactly. Here at NJIT we have very good students, and I'm really recruiting the best students really to work on this project. One of the things I'm elaborating here is that I would like to build a course on molecular simulations, because not only in biology but also in material science, the properties of the materials, they depend really on the atomic details. Like, for example, if you increase the temperature, there is expansion of the material, and this is just due to increase of the vibration of the atoms. How to simulate this and how to understand it from an atomic perspective. And that's one of the ways I would like to bring students to be interested in the field. And of course, what we do here is everything is related to computers. So we do simulations, and as you know, the new generation, they are very good with computers, with graphical designs, and so we need this new generation in order to be at the forefront of science.
So there you have it, classical mathematics, classical physics being applied to problems of biology. That's what we mean when we talk about the convergence of life science and engineering. This is another conversation from the Edge here at NJIT, where we make science work for everyone.